Got a minute, Chris? I could really use your advice on my presentation tomorrow.
Of course, Nina. What's the topic about?
It's on our latest project developments, but I want to make it more interesting than the usual slides. You know how presentations can get dry.
So true. I'd recommend starting with a story or a real-life example. Something that pulls people in right from the start.
That's a great idea. I was considering a quick case study, but a story might be even better. What do you think about visuals? Should I keep it simple?
Yes, simple and clean slides always work best. Try not to overload them with text. You want people to listen to you, not read the slides.
Good point. Less text, more visuals, maybe some graphics or charts to back up my main points.
Exactly. And don't forget to pause a little between slides. It gives people time to absorb what you've said.
Thanks, Chris. You've given me so many helpful tips. Fingers crossed it all goes smoothly tomorrow.
You've got this, Nina. Just remember to stay confident and keep it conversational. You'll do great.
I'm thinking of signing up for a 5K race. What do you think?
That's awesome, Leo. Have you done anything like that before?
No, but I've been running casually for a few months. Just want to push myself a bit, you know?
Totally. A 5K is a great goal. Are you following any kind of training plan for it?
Not exactly. I've just been running 3 times a week around 2 miles each time. I figure I can build up from there.
That's a solid start. Maybe add some strength training in, too. It can help a lot with endurance and preventing injuries.
Good call. I could use some core work for sure. And I know my pace could be better, so I'll focus on that.
You'll do great. Start slow, build up your distance, and maybe do a long run each week to prep.
Thanks for the tips, Sarah. It's exciting but a little intimidating too.
Trust me, it's easier than you think once you get into the routine. You'll crush it.
I'm finally upgrading my phone, but I'm torn between two models. I need some advice.
Ooh, let's hear it. What are your options?
Well, there's the Pixel, which has an amazing camera, or the latest iPhone with more storage.
Both sound great. Do you take a lot of photos or videos? That could be a deciding factor.
All the time. But I also have a huge music library, so storage is big for me too.
True. If you're going to be saving tons of music, maybe the iPhone is the way to go. Plus, it'll be faster if you're multitasking.
You're probably right. And I guess I can always use cloud storage if I go with the Pixel, but it's an extra step.
Yep. Either way, they're both solid choices. Which one is calling to you more?
Honestly, the iPhone. I think you helped me make up my mind. Thanks, Maya.
I'm seriously thinking about switching careers. Is that totally crazy?
Not at all, Lily. What kind of career are you considering?
I've always been interested in graphic design. It's something I've wanted to do for ages, and it just feels like the right time.
That's awesome. Do you have any experience with it, or would you be starting from scratch?
I have a bit. I've taken a few online courses, but nothing professional yet.
That's a great start. Maybe try doing some freelance projects on the side. It could help you build up a portfolio and see if you really enjoy it.
Good idea. I was thinking the same. That way, I can test the waters without leaving my current job.
Exactly. And if you find you love it, you'll already have a foundation when you're ready to switch full-time.
Thanks, Ben. It's exciting, but also a little terrifying.
That's normal. Just take it step by step. You'll know when the time's right.
Hey, are we still on for the trip this weekend?
Definitely. I was just checking the weather forecast and it looks perfect. Sunny and not too hot.
Oh, that's a relief. I was a bit worried it might rain. Have you figured out the driving situation? It's a bit of a long drive.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I can drive us down if you don't mind helping out with the gas. We can split it.
Sounds fair to me. I'll make sure I have enough cash on hand for that. Oh, and snacks. Do you have any specific requests?
Maybe some trail mix and energy bars. And we can't forget water bottles. Got to stay hydrated on the road.
Absolutely. And I'll take care of the playlist too. I've been curating it for weeks.
This is shaping up to be an epic trip. I can't wait. It'll be nice to get out of the city and just relax for a bit.
Agreed. Between work and everything else, a break is much needed. Should we plan to leave early on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the earlier the better. That way we get more time to explore once we get there.
Perfect. I'll be ready by 6 a.m., coffee in hand.
Did you see the new sci-fi movie everyone's talking about?
Yes, I watched it last night. It was intense.
I know, right? The plot was so complex, I almost got lost at one point.
Same here. There were so many twists. Just when I thought I had it figured out, it completely surprised me.
Exactly. What did you think of the ending?
It was unexpected. I think it was clever, but it left me with so many questions.
Me too. Part of me liked the mystery, but I also wanted more closure.
I guess that's what makes it so interesting, though. It really keeps you thinking.
True. It's not often a movie sticks with me like that. Do you think they'll make a sequel?
I hope so. There's definitely room for one. I'd love to see where they take the story next.
So I'm thinking about starting a new hobby. I feel like I need something creative.
That's a great idea. Do you have anything in mind?
I was thinking about photography. I've always enjoyed taking pictures, but I've never done it seriously.
You should go for it. Photography is so much fun, and there's a lot to learn. Are you planning to buy a camera?
Yeah, I've been looking at a few entry-level ones. I think I'll start with something simple to learn the basics.
Good call. You can always upgrade later if you really get into it. Have you thought about what you want to photograph?
I'd love to try landscape and nature photography. There are so many beautiful places nearby to practice.
That sounds perfect. You'll have a great time exploring and capturing those moments.
Thanks, Sophie. I feel more motivated now. I'll keep you posted on my progress.
I've been dreaming about a trip to Spain for ages. I think this year I'll finally make it happen. Have you been?
Yes, I went 2 years ago, and honestly, it was one of the best trips of my life. There's so much to see, from lively cities to the most charming little villages. You'll love it.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for. There's so much culture, and every region seems so unique. Where did you start your trip?
We started in Barcelona. It's a perfect mix of art, history, and beach. One of the highlights was seeing La Sagrada Familia in person. I'd seen photos, but in real life, it's just breathtaking.
La Sagrada Familia. Gaudí's masterpiece, right? I've heard it's been under construction for over a century.
Yes, since 1882. But the fact that it's still being built just adds to its mystery and charm. Every detail is so intricate. You could spend hours just looking at one section and still discover something new. And if you climb one of the towers, you get an amazing view of the whole city.
That sounds incredible. What else did you do in Barcelona?
Oh, you have to check out Park Güell, another Gaudí creation. It's a public park with colorful mosaics and unusual architecture that feels almost like a fantasy world. The view from there is gorgeous too. And let's not forget the food. Tapas everywhere.
Tapas. I've been dying to try authentic tapas. What was your favorite?
It's hard to choose. Patatas bravas are a must-try. They're crispy potatoes with a spicy sauce. And you'll see jamón ibérico, a type of cured ham, everywhere. It's amazing with bread and tomato. Oh, and don't miss churros with hot chocolate. They're a traditional snack, especially for breakfast or a late-night treat.
Churros for breakfast? I'm definitely on board with that. I know I'd love the food scene. Did you go anywhere outside Barcelona?
Yes, we took a day trip to Montserrat. It's this mountain with a beautiful monastery perched high up, and the scenery is spectacular. You take a cable car up the mountain, and the views are unbelievable. And there's this statue of the Black Madonna that people come from all over to see.
Wow, that sounds so peaceful and different from the city vibe. I'll have to add it to my list. After Barcelona, where did you go?
We traveled to Madrid, the capital. It has a different energy, more formal but equally lively. We went to the Prado Museum, which has works by Spanish masters like Velázquez and Goya. It's one of the top art museums in the world.
So Madrid is more about history and art?
Definitely, though it has a great nightlife too. There's a street called Gran Via, filled with theaters, shops, and cafes. We ended up spending a whole evening there just wandering around, and the atmosphere was amazing. Madrid also has Retiro Park, a huge green space with a lake where you can rent rowboats. It's a peaceful escape from the city's bustle.
That sounds perfect. Did you have any language issues? I'm still learning Spanish.
You'll be fine. People are friendly and patient, especially if they see you're trying. Plus, in the bigger cities, many people speak a bit of English, especially in restaurants and hotels.
Good to know. Any other places you'd recommend?
Seville. It's in the south, in the Andalusia region, and it's completely different. The architecture has a unique Moorish influence, especially in the Real Alcazar, a royal palace with beautiful tile work and gardens. And the flamenco dancing, there's no place better to see it than Seville.
Flamenco. I forgot that Spain is famous for that. Did you get to see a live performance?
Yes, we went to a small, intimate venue, and it was mesmerizing. The dancers pour so much emotion into each movement, it's intense and beautiful. You can almost feel the passion in the air, and the guitar playing was just as amazing.
I would love that. So, Barcelona, Madrid, and Seville. Is there anywhere else you'd go back to if you could?
Oh, for sure. Granada, where the Alhambra is. It's this stunning palace and fortress complex with intricate Islamic architecture and breathtaking views of the Sierra Nevada mountains. The history and design are so detailed and serene. And Granada has a unique culture. It was the last city taken over by the Catholic monarchs. So it has this blend of Moorish and Spanish influences.
That sounds magical. I could explore for weeks. Do you have any tips for a first-timer like me?
Yes, definitely pace yourself because there's a lot to see. And try to learn a few Spanish phrases. Even a simple hola or gracias goes a long way. And don't forget to enjoy the siesta culture. Many shops close for a couple of hours in the afternoon, so that's a perfect time to relax.
Siesta sounds like my kind of travel style. I'll make sure to schedule in some downtime. Thanks for all the advice, Mia. Now I feel more excited and ready to explore.
You'll have an unforgettable time, Zara. Spain has a way of staying in your heart long after you've left.
Did you catch the news about NASA's recent Mars mission? It's wild to think people could actually live there someday.
Yes, it feels like science fiction becoming reality. They say we might have a permanent base there within a few decades. Imagine humanity spreading across planets.
Unbelievable, right? The latest rover sent back some pretty clear images of the Martian surface. It's barren, but something about it is fascinating. I think it's that raw, untouched landscape.
Agreed. But can you imagine the challenges? The temperatures alone would be brutal. And then there's the radiation. I read that scientists are considering using underground habitats to protect people.
Underground? That makes sense, especially with how harsh the surface is. Plus, they'd have to generate their own oxygen and find a water source. I know they've discovered frozen water, but making it usable is a different story.
True, but it's exciting to think how close we might be to building something sustainable. It almost feels like a second chance to get things right as a species.
Exactly. Imagine seeing the Earth from Mars. It'd be like a tiny blue dot in the distance. That perspective alone would change everything, I think.
It would. Who knows? Maybe in our lifetime, space tourism will take off, and we'll get a chance to see it firsthand. Lately, I've been reading about sustainable living. I'm thinking about trying a minimalist lifestyle.
Interesting. I did a bit of that last year. It's surprising how much stuff we don't need. What got you interested?
Honestly, just seeing the amount of waste around me. I feel like I'm drowning in things I don't even use. Plus, I'd love to live a life with less clutter and more intention.
Exactly. Going minimalist really makes you rethink your choices. I remember starting by cutting back on clothes and then moved on to limiting gadgets and furniture.
It sounds liberating. Did you notice a big difference after you decluttered?
Absolutely. My apartment feels more open and my mind feels clearer too. Plus, it's easier to focus on what actually matters, and I'm saving money since I'm not buying things impulsively.
That's inspiring. I'll start with clothes and maybe gradually move to other areas. I think it'll make a big difference in how I feel day to day.
You know, I've always dreamed of going on a safari in Africa. I think it's my #1 bucket list item.
That sounds incredible. Imagine seeing lions and elephants up close in the wild. Have you looked into where you'd go?
Yeah, I'm thinking Tanzania or Kenya. Both have amazing national parks, and I hear the Serengeti is a life-changing experience.
I can see why. I've heard there's a migration of millions of wildebeests every year. It must be incredible to witness that.
Exactly. Plus, I'd love to stay in one of those eco-lodges where you can fall asleep to the sounds of nature. It's like a real escape from everything.
Sounds perfect. You should definitely make it happen. It's one of those things you'd remember forever.
You're right. I think it's time to start saving up and planning. Life's too short not to experience a little adventure.
I'm thinking about doing a social media detox for a month. It feels like I'm always checking my phone, and it's exhausting.
I've actually done that before. It's tough at first, but it was one of the best things I did for my mental health.
Really, what was the hardest part for you?
Honestly, the habit itself. I'd reach for my phone out of reflex, even when there were no notifications. But after a week, I felt way more present.
I can imagine. I'm a bit worried about missing out on things or not staying connected, though.
You do feel a bit out of the loop, but it's worth it. I used the time to reconnect with myself and focus on real-life relationships. It made social interactions feel more meaningful.
Sounds like a great experience. Maybe I'll start with a week and see how it goes. Who knows, maybe I'll even enjoy it.
I bet you will. And if you feel the urge to check something, pick up a book or go for a walk. You'll be surprised at how refreshing it feels.
Hey, I've been thinking about a career change. I know I have a stable job, but it's not really fulfilling anymore.
Really? What kind of change are you thinking of?
I want to work with people, maybe in psychology or social work. I feel like helping others would give me a sense of purpose.
That sounds rewarding for sure. But making such a big shift can be scary, especially after being in one field for so long.
True. I'm nervous about starting over, but every time I think about it, I get excited. I guess the real question is if I'm ready to take the risk.
Well, sometimes it's the risk that lead to the most rewarding paths. Maybe try taking some classes or volunteering to test the waters.
Good idea. That way, I'll get a feel for it without committing too soon. Thanks for the advice, Liam. It's good to talk this through.
Anytime, Grace. Follow what excites you. It usually leads somewhere worth going.
So, our company's rolling out this new AI system next month. I have mixed feelings about it. It could mean fewer tedious tasks for us, but it could also mean fewer jobs overall.
I get that. I think AI can be helpful in taking over repetitive tasks. But I agree. It's unsettling to think about the possible job cuts.
Exactly. Our department handles a lot of data entry and processing, so it makes sense. But sometimes I wonder if this is the first step toward more roles being replaced.
Maybe. But on the bright side, it could give us more time to focus on creative and strategic work. AI doesn't have our human instincts or creativity, at least not yet.
True. There's also a chance for new roles to emerge. People with AI management or data analysis skills could be in high demand.
Right. I guess we need to adapt and keep learning. The world's changing fast, and there's no stopping it. We can only keep up.
I suppose it's both thrilling and a bit intimidating. Let's hope it all balances out in the end.
So, I heard you're thinking about moving abroad. That's a huge step. Where are you thinking of going?
Yeah, I've been seriously considering it. I'm looking at either Canada or New Zealand. Both have great quality of life, good healthcare, and lots of nature. But there are so many factors to weigh.
Both of those sound amazing. New Zealand's landscapes are like something out of a dream. Rolling green hills, pristine beaches, and those mountains. But Canada has a lot to offer, too. Any particular reason for those two countries?
Exactly. New Zealand's nature is a big draw, especially for hiking. Plus, it's a smaller country with a more relaxed pace. But Canada has more job opportunities in my field, and I've heard that Canadians are super friendly. I could see myself fitting in there too.
So it sounds like Canada has the career advantages, while New Zealand has the lifestyle appeal. What about the weather? I've heard Canadian winters can be brutal if you're not used to them.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest concerns with Canada. The winters are long and cold, and I've never lived somewhere that snowy before. New Zealand, on the other hand, has pretty mild weather all year round, though it can be a bit rainy. I'm okay with rain if it means avoiding freezing temperatures.
That's fair. The climate really does affect your day-to-day life more than you'd think. So, what's holding you back? It sounds like you've already got your pros and cons down.
True, but it's just such a big move, you know? I'd be leaving behind my family, my friends, everything I know. And even though both countries speak English, I think there will still be a culture shock. I'm nervous about feeling out of place.
That makes sense. Moving abroad isn't easy, especially the first few months. But it could also be the adventure of a lifetime. You'd get to experience a new culture, meet new people, and maybe even discover new things about yourself.
Yeah, that's what excites me the most, pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I know I'd grow a lot from it. I've also been reading about the healthcare and education systems in both places, and they seem really strong. Canada has universal healthcare, which is a big plus, but I'd also love for my kids to grow up close to nature, which New Zealand offers.
That's a great point. It sounds like either way, you'd be moving to a country with a good quality of life. Do you know anyone in either place?
Not really. I have a cousin in Vancouver, but that's about it. I've been trying to connect with people online, though, like in expat groups and forums. It's actually been helpful hearing other stories about moving abroad. Some talk about the loneliness at first, but most say they don't regret the decision.
That's smart. It sounds like you're really doing your homework. And hey, you could always plan an extended visit to one of the places before committing fully. Sometimes a few weeks there can tell you if it feels like home.
That's true. Maybe I'll visit New Zealand first. I can hike, get a feel for the local life, and see if I feel the connection. I think experiencing a place firsthand would help make the decision clearer.
That sounds like a solid plan. Whatever you choose, Marco, it's going to be a memorable experience. And remember, home will always be here if you ever want to come back.
Thanks, Evelyn. Talking it through has helped me feel more confident about taking the leap. Now it's just about choosing where to start.
Hey, Mia! I heard you signed up for a pottery class. That's awesome. What made you want to try pottery of all things?
Hey, Jake. Yeah, I did. Honestly, I wanted to try something completely new and hands-on. With my job, I'm always on the computer, so I thought, why not get my hands a bit dirty? Plus, pottery seems so calming. You get to create something from scratch with your own hands.
That's true. I've never tried it myself, but I've heard it can be therapeutic. Do you know what kind of things you'll be making?
We're starting with the basics, just simple bowls and mugs for now. It's harder than it looks, though. You have to learn how to center the clay on the wheel, which is a lot trickier than I expected. My first bowl was a little lopsided, to be honest.
Hey, that's part of the charm. Handmade pottery doesn't need to be perfect. That's what makes each piece unique, right?
Exactly. That's what I love about it. And once I get better, I can make gifts for friends and family. There's something special about giving someone something you made with your own hands.
That's such a great idea. I'd love to try it someday, too. How's the learning curve? Is it tough to get started?
It can be, especially when it comes to controlling the wheel. It takes a lot of coordination and patience, but it's worth it. And our instructor is great. He says the clay tells you how it wants to be shaped if you just listen, which I thought was a beautiful way to put it.
I like that. Listening to the clay. It sounds like more than just a skill. It's almost like an art form. Do you feel like you're getting the hang of it?
Slowly but surely. It's been about a month, and I'm starting to feel more comfortable with the process. Last week, I even made a small plate, and it actually turned out okay. I'm excited to eventually try making larger pieces like a vase.
A vase would be impressive. Have you tried painting or glazing them yet?
Not yet. That's a whole other skill in itself. We're going to learn glazing next month. I've seen some amazing glazes. There's this one called drip glaze that makes a kind of marble effect. I can't wait to try it.
It sounds like you've really found something you're passionate about, Mia. And who knows, maybe one day you'll have a whole collection or even sell your pieces.
That would be amazing, right? But for now, I'm just enjoying learning and creating without any pressure. Pottery has given me this sense of calm that I didn't expect. It's nice to take a break from the digital world and work with my hands for a change.
I get it. We spend so much time in front of screens. It's refreshing to do something real and tangible. You're inspiring me, honestly. Maybe I'll sign up for a class and see if I've got any hidden pottery skills.
You should. I bet you'd love it. And hey, if you join, we can swap pottery tips and cheer each other on.
Deal. Here's to a new creative adventure. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up with a whole set of dishes by the end of it.
Let's hope so. It'll be great to have a piece of our own handiwork on the dinner table someday.
So I've been thinking, I might finally be ready to adopt a dog. I've been wanting one for years.
No way. That's amazing, Lena. I didn't know you were such a dog person. What brought this on?
Well, I've always loved dogs, but I wasn't sure if I had the time to give one the attention it deserves. But lately, I feel ready. I think it would add so much joy to my day, and I'm in a good place to take on that responsibility.
That's great. A dog would be so lucky to have you. Have you thought about what kind of dog you want? Big, small, active?
I've been going back and forth. Part of me wants a small dog, like a beagle or a corgi, something manageable in my apartment. But then I see these big, fluffy dogs, and I think they'd be so much fun to take hiking or to the park.
True, but big dogs need a lot of exercise. It sounds like a smaller dog might be easier to start with, especially since this would be your first pet, right?
Exactly, my very first. That's why I'm being so careful. I've been reading up on pet care, looking at shelters, even watching videos on training. I want to be sure I know what I'm getting into.
That's smart. Dogs really do need a lot of attention, especially at the beginning. I mean, there's house training, obedience training, setting up routines. It's a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm prepared for some sleepless nights at first, but I've heard that dogs can adjust quickly with the right training, and it'll be so worth it. I mean, who doesn't want a loyal buddy waiting for them at home?
Totally. It's so rewarding. So, are you planning to adopt from a shelter?
Yes. I've actually visited a couple of local shelters already. It's amazing how many sweet dogs are just waiting for a home, and I feel better about adopting than buying from a breeder.
That's really wonderful. Shelter dogs need so much love, and you're giving one a second chance. Have you met any dogs that you connected with yet?
was one. A little mix with big brown eyes and a wagging tail. The shelter staff said she's super friendly and loves people, but she's also a little shy with new dogs. I liked her a lot.
Aw, sounds like she could be a great fit. And dogs usually open up after some time in a stable home. But remember, it's okay to meet a few dogs before making a decision. You want to feel a real connection.
I know. I'm planning to go back this weekend. Maybe spend a little more time with her. I want to be sure she's comfortable around me. It's such a big step, but I'm excited.
It sounds like you're ready. And hey, when you bring her home, I'll be here to help. We can go to the park or I can even dog sit if you ever need it.
Thanks, Sam. That means so much. I was a bit nervous, but having your support makes me feel like I can really do this. I'll let you know how it goes.
So, Lily, have you thought any more about that cross-country road trip? I remember you mentioning it a few months ago.
Oh, it's been on my mind constantly. I think I'm finally going to do it. I'm planning to drive from New York to California, hitting all the major stops on the way. I've even started mapping it out.
Wow, that sounds incredible. How long are you planning to be on the road?
I'm thinking around 3 to 4 weeks. I want to take my time, really experience each place. I don't want to just rush from one city to the next. The whole point is to explore, right?
Exactly. So, what's your route looking like so far? I'm curious about where you'll be stopping.
Well, I'll start in New York and head down toward DC, maybe spend a day or two there. After that, I'm planning to hit Nashville for the music scene, then maybe on to New Orleans for the food and culture.
That sounds perfect. New Orleans will be such a change from the Northeast, and Nashville is awesome for live music. I've been there a few times, so much energy.
I know. I'm super excited about Nashville. Then from New Orleans, I'll head west toward Austin, Texas. I've heard the food and art scene there is amazing.
It definitely is. Austin has that quirky, creative vibe. You'll love it. Are you planning on hitting any national parks along the way?
Yes, actually. After Texas, I want to drive through Arizona and stop by the Grand Canyon. I've always wanted to see it in person. It's one of those places you hear about all the time, but I want to experience it for myself.
Oh, you're going to love it. Pictures don't do it justice. It's breathtaking in person. Just be sure to bring plenty of water. It can get really hot out there.
Good tip. I'm also planning to camp out a few nights, maybe in some of the national forests along the way. I think it'll be nice to just disconnect and enjoy the nature around me.
That's such a great idea. I think you'll find a lot of peace out there. Sometimes it's nice to get away from city life for a bit. Have you thought about where you'll stay along the way?
Mostly a mix of hotels, campsites, and maybe some Airbnb rentals if I want a night or two of comfort. I want to keep things flexible, though, in case I want to spend extra time in a place I really like.
Smart. Flexibility is key on road trips. So, what's your final destination? You said California? Any particular city?
San Francisco. I have a cousin there, and it'll be nice to have a familiar face after all that travel. Plus, I want to see the Golden Gate Bridge, the Redwood Forests, and maybe take a quick drive down to LA.
That's amazing, Lily. You're going to make so many memories. Do you know how you're getting back, or are you going to stay in California for a while?
I'm thinking of staying a month or so in San Francisco and just seeing where things go. I might even fly back and ship my car home. Depends on how much energy I have left by the end.
Sounds like a perfect plan. And hey, take a lot of pictures. I want to hear all about it when you're back. Maybe I'll even join you for part of it next time.
Absolutely, Mark. I'll keep you updated on my route. Who knows, maybe I'll inspire you to hit the road too.
Tomorrow's the big day. Are you ready for your first day at the new job?
I think so, but I'm definitely nervous. New places, new people, it's a lot to take in. I've barely slept thinking about it.
I get it. Starting somewhere new always feels overwhelming at first, but remember they hired you for a reason. You're going to do great.
Thanks, Alex. I keep telling myself that. But you know me, I tend to overthink everything. I've been running through scenarios in my head like, what if I forget someone's name? Or what if I mess up?
Everyone's in that same boat on their first day. No one expects you to know it all right away. Plus, they'll probably introduce you slowly to everything. It's not like they're going to throw you into the deep end.
True, and they did say I'll be shadowing another designer for the first week, so that helps. I just hope I get along with the team. Working with new people can be tricky sometimes.
From what you've told me, it sounds like a friendly place. And if you're positive and open, people usually respond well to that.
Good point. I just need to remember to be myself. And honestly, I am excited. The projects they're working on seem so interesting. It's the kind of work I've always wanted to do.
That's the spirit. A fresh start with cool projects, that's a dream come true, right? You're going to learn so much, and who knows, this could be a big step for your career.
Yeah, I need to keep that in mind. I guess I should focus on the experience and not worry about every little detail. The first day will come and go, and then I'll settle in.
Exactly. Give it a week and you'll feel like you've been there forever. Hey, do you have everything packed up and ready? Outfit picked out? Snacks? Water bottle?
Oh, I've been so focused on what could go wrong that I forgot the practical stuff. But yes, I do have my bag packed, and I even planned my outfit, something professional but comfortable.
Perfect. Look at you, already ahead of the game. Remember, take a deep breath, stay calm, and enjoy it. First days only happen once, and they're usually way easier than we imagine.
Thanks, Alex. Talking to you really helped me put things in perspective. I'm going to stop worrying and just try to enjoy it. I'll call you after to tell you how it went.
Can't wait to hear all about it. You've got this, Sophie.
I've been thinking, maybe I should try gardening. I keep seeing these beautiful garden photos, and I think it could be a nice, calming hobby.
Ooh, gardening, that sounds so peaceful. Plus, you'll get some fresh herbs and flowers right in your own backyard. What got you interested?
Honestly, I think I need something that helps me slow down a bit. Work has been so intense lately, and I want an activity that feels relaxing but rewarding. I figure planting and taking care of something might be exactly what I need.
That's a great idea. My grandma gardens, and she always says it's like her meditation. She grows tomatoes, basil, and even some flowers. Have you thought about what you'd like to plant?
I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm thinking of starting with something easy, like herbs, maybe mint, basil, and rosemary. I'd love to add some flowers too, just to brighten up the place.
Perfect choice. Herbs are usually pretty hardy and grow quickly, so you'll get to see some progress soon. Do you have space in your backyard for a garden bed?
Kind of. I have a small patch, but I was also thinking about trying some container gardening on my patio. I read that it's easier to start with containers and then maybe move to the ground later if I get the hang of it.
That sounds smart. Containers make it easy to control the soil and keep an eye on the plants. And hey, if you don't have to dig up your yard right away, that's probably a plus.
Exactly. Plus, I read that different plants have different needs for sunlight and water. I'd like to figure that out first before committing to a whole garden bed. Gardening seems relaxing, but I'm realizing it has its challenges too.
Totally. My grandma is always talking about how she has to remember when to water, prune, and keep an eye out for pests. It's a bit of a science, but once you get into a routine, it'll probably be second nature.
I hope so. I think I'm ready to give it a shot. And the idea of cooking with fresh herbs that I grew myself, that sounds so satisfying.
For sure. Nothing tastes better than homegrown herbs. Plus, imagine making tea with fresh mint right from your garden. You'll love it.
You're right, that sounds amazing. I'll start small, learn the basics, and see how it goes. Who knows, maybe I'll end up with a whole vegetable garden someday.
And I'll be your first customer for fresh veggies. Let me know if you need any help with the setup. I'd love to get my hands a little dirty too.
Thanks, Mia. I'll take you up on that offer once I've got everything ready. I think this is going to be fun.
All right. I made a grocery list, but I swear every time I go shopping, I come back with 5 things I didn't plan on.
Story of my life. Those impulse buys are dangerous. So what's on the list this time? Are you trying any new recipes?
Yeah, actually, I found this recipe for creamy mushroom pasta. It looks so good, but I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I've never cooked with mushrooms before.
Ooh, mushroom pasta. You can't go wrong with that, and it's pretty easy. Just make sure to get fresh mushrooms. They make all the difference.
Good tip. I'll look for those. I'm also planning to make a salad for the week, so I need some greens and maybe a few avocados if they look good.
That sounds like a solid plan. I just stocked up on pasta and rice since they go with everything. Oh, and I tried this new seasoning blend. It's amazing on veggies. You have to try it.
Ooh, now I'm curious. What's it called?
It's called Tuscan Herbs. A mix of rosemary, basil, thyme. Makes everything taste like a little slice of Italy.
All right, adding it to the list. And maybe I'll pick up some bread too. Can't have pasta without garlic bread, right?
Exactly. And if you want to make it really special, get some fresh parmesan for the pasta. You won't regret it.
You're a lifesaver, Noah. I would have forgotten half these things. Now I'm actually excited to go shopping.
Glad I could help. Enjoy, chef.
All right, so what are we doing this weekend? I feel like we need something fun.
Yes, we deserve it after the week we had. I was thinking we could go to that new outdoor market on Saturday. They have food stalls, handmade stuff, live music. It sounds like the perfect way to spend a day.
That actually sounds awesome. I could go for some good street food. Do you know what time it starts?
It opens around 10 a.m., but I figured we could get there a bit later to avoid the crowd. I think noon would be perfect.
Good idea. And then, if we're feeling up to it, we could check out that art exhibit downtown in the afternoon. They're showing local artists this month, and I've been meaning to go.
Ooh, yes. I heard some of the pieces are interactive too, and they have a little coffee corner inside, so we can grab something if we need a break.
Perfect plan. Food, art, and coffee, all my favorite things in one day. Do you think we'll need tickets for the exhibit?
I think so, but they're only $10. Let's check the website tonight to make sure it's not sold out.
Sounds good. Oh, and maybe after, if we're not too tired, we could go to that outdoor movie screening at the park. They're showing classic comedies this weekend.
Yes, let's do it. We can bring blankets, snacks, make a whole evening of it. I'm so glad we're doing this, Jake.
Same here. Saturday's gonna be epic. I'll make sure to bring my camera. This sounds like a day worth capturing.
Thank you for coming in today, Sarah. We're excited to learn more about you and your creative process. Could you start by telling us a little about your background?
Of course. I studied graphic design in college, and after graduation, I worked with a small agency where I had the opportunity to work on everything from branding to digital ads. That experience taught me to adapt to various styles and client needs.
That's great to hear. It sounds like you're comfortable working with a range of projects. Could you walk me through one of your favorite projects and what made it memorable?
Sure, one of my favorite projects was actually a rebranding for a local coffee shop. They wanted a modern, minimalist look, but still wanted to keep a cozy, welcoming vibe. I researched color palettes, designed new logos, and even helped with the menu design. Seeing my work in an actual business space was incredibly rewarding.
That sounds fantastic. So from concept to execution, you were heavily involved? In this role, we're looking for someone who can balance creativity with strategic thinking. How do you ensure your creative ideas align with a client's goals?
I think it all starts with understanding the client's vision. I usually hold a brainstorming session where I ask a lot of questions to understand their needs and what they hope to achieve. Once I have a clear vision, I let my creativity flow, but always refer back to their core message to make sure everything aligns.
Impressive. We definitely value someone who puts the client's vision first. Let's talk a bit about challenges. What's been the most challenging project you've worked on, and how did you handle it?
Good question. I once had a project where a client's vision kept evolving. Every week, they'd introduce new ideas, which made it difficult to keep on track. I decided to have a candid conversation with them about the scope and timeline, and we agreed on a few final revisions to keep us both focused. It was a lesson in patience, but also in clear communication.
That's such a valuable skill. So before we wrap up, is there a specific goal you have for yourself in a role like this?
Absolutely. My goal is to take on more responsibility in creative direction, overseeing a project from concept to launch while collaborating with other creatives. I feel this role could help me develop those skills.
That's wonderful, Sarah. Thanks again for coming in and sharing your experiences with us. We'll be in touch soon.
Thank you for coming in, Natalie. We're always excited to meet young chefs interested in this apprenticeship. So, tell me, what inspired you to pursue a career in cooking?
Thank you, Chef Marquez. I've loved cooking since I was a kid. My family would gather every Sunday for a big meal, and I was always in the kitchen, helping my grandmother with everything from chopping vegetables to seasoning sauces. Watching people enjoy what we'd made together, it just made me realize that cooking could be more than a hobby for me.
That's wonderful. Cooking with family can really ignite that passion. So, what would you say is your favorite type of cuisine to work with?
That's tough. I love Italian cuisine, mainly because it feels so comforting and rooted in tradition. But I also enjoy experimenting with Asian flavors and learning to balance spices, especially in Thai and Japanese cooking. Each cuisine has such a unique approach, and I love adapting new techniques into my own style.
A true chef at heart, always experimenting. Now, this apprenticeship will involve long hours and a lot of precision. Our kitchen can get intense, especially during service. Do you have experience working under high pressure?
Yes, I worked part-time in a busy restaurant last year. It was my first real kitchen job, and I quickly learned how to handle multiple orders, stay organized, and keep calm, even when we had full tables. It was overwhelming at first, but I grew to love the adrenaline rush. I feel like I really thrive under that kind of pressure.
That's good to hear. Adaptability and resilience are essential in this line of work. Tell me, what's the most challenging dish you've tried to master?
I'd say mastering a classic French soufflé was the hardest for me. I must have tried it a dozen times before I got the rise and texture just right. One small mistake, and the whole thing could collapse. But I kept practicing and refining my technique until I finally got it. It was definitely a lesson in patience and precision.
Soufflés require such care. Nicely done. Here, our apprentices learn both modern and traditional cooking methods. We love to teach the science behind every technique. How comfortable are you with learning about the chemistry of cooking?
I'd love that, actually. I think understanding the science would help me make better choices in the kitchen. I've read about how acids, like lemon or vinegar, can enhance flavors, and I'm always interested in learning why some flavors pair so well together. I feel like a deeper knowledge could really elevate my cooking.
You're right. Understanding the why behind cooking can make all the difference. Now, a large part of this role is working as a team. How would you describe your style when it comes to teamwork?
I'd say I'm collaborative and very open to feedback. In my last job, I worked closely with the line cooks, helping each other whenever the rush picked up. We all knew that if one person fell behind, the whole line would be impacted, so I made sure to offer help whenever I could and took advice from more experienced chefs without hesitation.
That's the right attitude. A strong team makes for a smooth kitchen. Last question. What do you hope to gain from this apprenticeship, and where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I'm hoping to gain a solid foundation in both technique and kitchen management. I'd love to learn how to run a kitchen efficiently, from prep to plating. In 5 years, my dream is to work as a sous chef, developing my own menu ideas, and eventually work my way up to executive chef in a restaurant known for creative and fresh ingredients.
It sounds like you have a clear vision for yourself, Natalie. I'm impressed with your dedication and willingness to learn. We'll be making final decisions soon, but I can tell you'd be a great fit in our kitchen. Thank you for sharing your passion with us today.
Thank you so much, Chef Marquez. This opportunity would mean the world to me, and I'm excited at the possibility of learning under you and your team.
Likewise, Natalie. Best of luck. We'll be in touch soon.
Hey, Alana. I've noticed we've both been pretty busy lately, and the apartment's, let's say, not in the best shape.
Yeah, you're right. Between work and everything, it's easy to let things pile up. I think we need a better system for cleaning. Any ideas?
I was thinking we could make a weekly schedule. Like, I could take care of vacuuming and dusting one week, and then we swap. Or we could assign rooms.
I like the idea of swapping rooms. That way, if one room needs extra work, we're sharing the load. Plus, it keeps things fresh, right?
Exactly. And how about we make Sundays our reset day? We could spend, say, 30 minutes tackling whatever needs the most attention.
That's a great idea. And let's set a rule. Anything that's left out in common areas goes into a bin. If it's yours, you have to take it out by Sunday night.
Perfect. Oh, and about the kitchen. How do you feel about alternating dish duty every night? I notice the dishes pile up when we both assume the other will take care of them.
Good call. Let's take turns, and maybe if one of us cooks, the other handles cleanup that night. That way, it's even.
Deal. One last thing, let's tackle the bathroom together once a month. It's easier if we just knock it out in one go.
You're on. This is actually going to make things so much easier. Thanks for bringing it up, Sam. I think this is going to work well for both of us.
No problem. Let's kick it off this Sunday.
Sounds good. Here's to a clean, stress-free apartment.
Hey everyone! So glad we could all meet up today. It's been ages since our last trip. I was thinking we could plan something for the upcoming long weekend. Any ideas?
A trip sounds perfect. I've been itching to get out of the city. What about hiking? There are a few great trails up north, and it'll be a good way for us to get some fresh air.
Ooh, hiking, I'm in. Which trails are you thinking, Jake?
Well, there's Green River Trail. It's pretty scenic but manageable. We could even set up camp by the lake for the night. Or, if we're feeling adventurous, there's Eagle Peak. It's a bit tougher, though.
Green River Trail sounds ideal. I'm all for adventure, but maybe not too intense, especially if we're carrying camping gear. Plus, the lake sounds lovely for a night under the stars.
Count me in. I'll bring the tents. But I need to warn you all, I haven't hiked in, well, years.
Don't worry, Tom. None of us are pros here. I think we're more focused on relaxing and enjoying the scenery.
Exactly. So, here's what I suggest. We leave Friday evening, camp near the trail entrance, and then start hiking first thing Saturday. That way, we get a full day on the trail.
I love it! Should we split up some tasks? Like, who's bringing food, gear, first aid kit, stuff like that?
Good idea. I'll handle the tents and sleeping bags.
I can take care of snacks, water, and any cooking gear we need.
I'll bring the first aid kit and some firewood in case it gets chilly at night. Jake, what about you?
I'll make sure we have a map and a compass. Can't have us getting lost out there.
Perfect! This is going to be awesome. Let's meet next week to finalize everything and do a gear check. Can't wait!
James, I got a job offer. It's in Chicago, though, so I'd have to move.
Chicago. Wow, that's exciting. But yeah, moving is a huge step. How do you feel about it?
I'm nervous, but also thrilled. It's a great opportunity, but leaving here won't be easy. I mean, all my friends, my family, and you.
Hey, it's a big change, but I'm excited for you. Plus, Chicago's just a flight away. What's the job?
I'd be working with a nonprofit focused on environmental policy. It's exactly the kind of work I want to do.
That's amazing, Lena. You've worked so hard for this. When would you start?
Next month, I'll have to find a place to live, pack everything up. It's a bit overwhelming.
I'll help you with the move, and we'll definitely stay in touch. You've got this.
Thanks, James. Having your support makes it a lot easier.
Hey, Grace. Guess what I came across today? A flyer for a rock climbing club. They meet every weekend at that indoor climbing gym downtown. I think we should give it a try.
Rock climbing? Seriously? I've never done anything like that. Isn't it, kind of intense?
Come on, it's not like we're scaling Mount Everest. They have beginner classes and they start on super low walls. It's more about learning the basics and having fun.
I don't know. I'm not exactly a fan of heights. I get nervous just standing on a tall chair.
Haha, that's exactly why you should try it. Think of it as a way to conquer your fears. Plus, it's great exercise. You've been saying you wanted to switch up your routine.
I said switch it up, not terrify myself. But you have a point. Running on the treadmill is getting boring. Still, what if I get stuck halfway up and can't move? That would be embarrassing.
If that happens, I'll cheer you on from below, or laugh, depending on how funny it looks.
Gee, thanks. You're such a supportive friend.
In all seriousness, the instructors are super helpful. They'll guide you step by step, and there's a harness, so even if you slip, you're completely safe. Worst case, you just dangle for a bit like a cool action hero.
Action hero, huh? I'm pretty sure I'd look more like a panicked cat stuck on a tree.
Well, panicked cat or not, you'll be trying something new. Imagine the stories you'll have to tell. And if it's terrible, we can just grab a smoothie afterward and call it a day.
Smoothies, you say? Now you're talking my language.
Exactly, so are you in?
Fine, I'll try it. But only because you promised smoothies. What do I need to bring?
Just some comfortable clothes and a sense of adventure. The gym provides the shoes and harness.
All right, but I'm warning you, if I chicken out, I'm not climbing higher than the kiddie wall.
Deal. Let's aim for this Saturday. They have a morning session. That way we can laugh at ourselves when there's no crowd.
Oh, great. No witnesses to my potential humiliation. Perfect.
Welcome, everyone. My name's Mia, and I'll be helping you today. Let's start with some basics. How to use your harness, the proper climbing technique, and how to trust your belayer. That's the person holding your rope.
Trusting someone with my life already sounds like a bad idea. What if you let go?
Relax. I've got a strong grip. Plus, I wouldn't let you fall unless you start insulting my climbing skills.
Noted. Compliment Ryan or plummet to my doom. Got it.
All right, who's ready to give it a try? We'll start on the beginner wall.
Me. Grace, you go first.
What? No way. You go first and show me how it's done.
Fine, watch and learn.
What's wrong? Don't tell me you're stuck already.
No, I'm just admiring the view. You'll see. It's amazing once you're up here.
More like you're figuring out how to come down. Okay, fine. My turn. Oh no. Nope. Why does this suddenly feel so high?
You're doing great, Grace. Focus on the next handhold. Don't look down. Just keep moving upward.
You've got this. One step at a time. Remember, smoothie glory awaits you.
Smoothie glory, huh? All right, fine. But if I make it to the top, you're buying.
Deal!
I did it. I actually made it to the top.
See, I told you, you're a natural.
Natural? I'm shaking like a leaf. Get me down now.
Just lean back and trust the rope. We'll lower you slowly.
How do you feel?
Like I survived a near-death experience, but I kind of liked it. Weirdly satisfying.
I knew you'd love it. So, ready to try the next wall?
Let's not get carried away. Smoothie first, then maybe I'll consider it.
Fair enough. To smoothies and newfound bravery.
To never letting you talk me into anything this crazy again. Until next time.
Hey, Liam. I've been thinking, I really need to start eating healthier. I feel so sluggish lately, and I think my diet is the main problem.
I hear you. I've been wanting to make some changes too, but it's so hard to stay consistent. Every time I try, I end up giving up after a week.
Same here. I mean, it's easier said than done, right? But this time, I want to stick to it. Maybe we could try it together?
That's a great idea. It's always easier when you have someone to hold you accountable. So, what's your plan? Are you thinking of cutting out sugar or trying one of those trendy diets?
Not really. I don't want to do anything extreme. I was thinking more along the lines of eating more vegetables, drinking more water, and cutting back on processed foods. Just small, manageable changes.
That sounds smart. Extreme diets never work for me either. I tried keto last year and I couldn't even look at a piece of bread without feeling like I was breaking the law.
Oh, I remember that. You were so grumpy all the time. That's why I think balance is key. No crazy restrictions, just healthier choices.
Okay, but what about snacks? I'm a big snacker. If I don't have chips or cookies in the house, I feel like I'll starve.
There are healthier options, you know? Like instead of chips, you could have popcorn or nuts. And instead of cookies, maybe some fruit or yogurt with honey. It's about finding alternatives.
I could try that. But I'm not sure about the fruit thing. Isn't it full of sugar?
Natural sugar, yes, but it's not the same as processed sugar. Plus, fruit has fiber and vitamins, so it's actually good for you.
Fair point. What about drinks? I always struggle with that. I love soda, but I know it's terrible for me.
You could switch to sparkling water with a splash of juice. It's not the same, but it helps when you're craving something fizzy. Or herbal teas. Those are great too.
I'll give it a shot. Okay, so snacks and drinks covered. What about meals? I don't have time to cook elaborate stuff every day.
Neither do I. But meal prepping is a game changer. You can cook a few things on Sunday and have them ready for the week, like grilled chicken, roasted veggies, and maybe some quinoa or rice. Then you just mix and match.
That actually sounds doable. And it would save me money on takeout, too. I'm in. Should we make a list of things to buy?
Definitely. Let's start with the basics. Vegetables like spinach, broccoli, and carrots. Some lean protein like chicken or fish, and whole grains like oats and brown rice. Oh, and don't forget healthy fats like avocados and olive oil.
Wow, look at you. You sound like a nutritionist. What about snacks? Should we add nuts and yogurt?
For sure. And maybe some dark chocolate for when we're craving something sweet. You don't have to give up treats completely, just pick better ones.
I like the sound of that. Okay, let's plan our first healthy week. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. What do you think?
All right. For breakfast, how about oatmeal with fruit or eggs and whole grain toast? For lunch, maybe a big salad with some grilled chicken or a veggie-packed wrap.
And for dinner? Something quick but satisfying?
Stir fries are always good. Just throw in some veggies, protein, and a little sauce. Or pasta with a tomato-based sauce and lots of veggies.
This is starting to sound better than my usual frozen pizza routine. What about exercise? Are we adding that too?
Of course. Even just 20 to 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Maybe some walking or even a quick workout video. Nothing too intense to start with.
All right, I'm convinced. Healthy food, exercise, and accountability, this might actually work. Should we set some goals?
Good idea. Let's keep it realistic. Like drinking 8 glasses of water a day, exercising 3 times a week, and cooking most of our meals at home.
Deal. And maybe we can have a cheat meal on the weekends? I can't live without my Sunday pancakes.
Absolutely. Cheat meals are allowed. It's about balance, not perfection.
All right, Emma, let's do this. I'm excited and a little scared, but mostly excited.
Same here. We've got this, Liam. Here's to a healthier us.
Hey, Ethan, guess what? I'm thinking about buying a bicycle. I want to start riding to work and maybe do some weekend trails. What do you think?
That's a great idea. Biking is such a fun way to stay active. Plus, you'll save on gas and parking. Do you know what kind of bike you want?
Not really, that's the thing. I'm clueless about bikes. I went to a shop yesterday and there were so many options. Road bikes, mountain bikes, hybrid bikes. My head was spinning.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming at first. But it all depends on how you'll use it. For commuting and occasional trails, a hybrid bike might be your best bet. It's a mix of a road and mountain bike, so it's versatile.
That sounds perfect. But are they expensive? I don't want to spend a fortune on my first bike.
It depends on the brand and features, but you can find decent ones in the mid-range. I'd say set a budget first, and then start comparing. Do you want to check out some shops together this weekend?
That'd be awesome. I could use your advice. Oh, and do I need to buy all the extra gear? The salesperson was trying to sell me a helmet, gloves, lights, and even a fancy water bottle.
Well, some of that stuff is essential. A helmet is non-negotiable. You need it for safety. Lights are important if you're riding early in the morning or at night. Gloves and water bottles are nice to have, but not a priority.
Good to know. I don't want to go overboard right away. What about bike locks? I live in an apartment building, but I'll need to park it outside sometimes.
Absolutely. A good lock is a must. Get a U-lock or a heavy-duty chain lock to keep your bike safe. The cheap ones are easy to break.
Noted. Okay, so I need a hybrid bike, a helmet, lights, and a sturdy lock. Anything else?
Maybe a bell or horn. just to let people know you're coming. And if you're commuting, a small basket or rack for your bag could be helpful.
A basket sounds cute. Practical and stylish. All right, let's plan to visit a couple of shops this weekend. But what should I look for when testing the bikes?
Good question. First, check how comfortable the seat and handlebars are. If you're not comfortable, you won't enjoy riding. Second, test the gears and brakes to make sure they're smooth. And third, make sure the frame size is right for your height.
That makes sense. I don't want to end up with something I hate riding. Oh, and what about maintenance? Is it a lot of work?
Not really. Just keep the chain clean and oiled, check the tire pressure regularly, and get it tuned up once or twice a year. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it.
Okay, I'm starting to feel more confident about this. Thanks for all the tips, Ethan. I had no idea there was so much to think about.
No problem. It's better to be prepared. Once you get your bike, we can go for a ride together. There's a beautiful trail near the lake that's perfect for beginners.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait. I just hope I don't fall off or embarrass myself.
Haha. Don't worry. Everyone's a bit wobbly at first. By the second ride, you'll feel like a pro.
All right, I'm officially excited now. Thanks for helping me with this. You're the best.
Anytime. Just remember, once you start biking, you'll never want to stop. It's addicting in the best way.
I'll take your word for it. Let's make this weekend count.
Deal. See you on Saturday.
Hey, Liam, guess what? I signed up for a painting class. I thought it was time to pick up a new hobby. What do you think?
Painting? That's awesome, Ella. I didn't know you were into art. What inspired you?
I don't know. I just needed something to take my mind off work. Plus, I've always loved looking at paintings in galleries. I thought, why not try it myself?
Makes sense. And who knows? You might have a hidden talent. You could be the next Picasso.
Haha, I doubt that. But thanks for the encouragement. Have you ever tried painting?
Not seriously. The last time I painted was in high school art class, and let's just say my teacher didn't think I'd make a living from it.
Well, they say practice makes perfect, right? You should join me for a class. It could be fun.
I might take you up on that, but I'd probably make a mess. What kind of painting are you doing? Watercolors? Acrylics?
Acrylics to start with. The instructor said they're beginner-friendly. I bought some supplies yesterday. Paints, brushes, and a few canvases. I'm already hooked.
You're diving in headfirst, huh? That's great. Do you have any specific goals with it, or is it just for fun?
Honestly, just for fun. I want to learn to paint landscapes. There's something so calming about them. And who knows? Maybe I'll hang one on my wall someday.
That's a fantastic idea. Just don't go comparing yourself to the pros right away. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know.
True. The instructor said the same thing. He told us to focus on enjoying the process rather than the result. It's good advice, but easier said than done.
That's the spirit. Just take it one brushstroke at a time. So, when's your first class?
Tomorrow evening. I'm a little nervous, though. What if I'm terrible?
Ella, nobody starts as an expert. And besides, the only way to get better is to try. You're already ahead of most people by taking the leap.
You're right. Thanks, Liam. You're a good motivator. If I do end up with a masterpiece, I'll let you have it.
Deal. And if it's terrible, I'll still frame it and tell everyone it's modern art.
Good to know I have your support no matter what. All right. Wish me luck for tomorrow.
Good luck. You've got this. And hey, text me a picture of your first painting. I want to see how it turns out.